Howdy, 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 my name is Anachi Sasuke. Welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. The little rainbow logo was gone. I really don't know what governs when that does and doesn't show up. It just sort of... sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. I really don't know. But in any case, let's get down to the 900s. That's too far. Last time we read The Clothes Dryer, my friend no, we didn't. Back it up. We read A Formal Discussion, son of a expletive redacted, The Workaholic, Wondertainment Land, and then Clothes Dryer. This episode is where my friend Lucas comes from, and the fact that it's all capitalized like that leads me to believe something strange is afoot. So we got my friend Lucas, NP Rock, which might be No Problem Rock, Polymorphic Humanoid, Vocalizing Frogs, and Mr. Sillybug, who might be a little mister. But everything about this seems like this episode's gonna be a weird one. So, let's check out Lucas! Well, Lucas is safe. Maybe he's some sort of toy. A copy of SCP-951-1 is to be kept in a standard containment locker and to be used only for testing. Extensive information suppression of 951 is not necessary. However, websites concerning video game glitches or bugs are to be regularly monitored for descriptions of 951, and any individuals discussing 951 are to be made to believe that it is a regular, non-anomalous glitch. Individuals further perpetuating 951's anomalous nature are to be located and given a Class A amnestic and their copy of 1 replaced with a confirmed non-affected cartridge. In addition, Foundation-sponsored ROM image files of non-anomalous copies of 1 are to be distributed to avoid accidental upload of affected cartridges and minimize exposure to 951. SCP-951 is a glitch found in the Sega Genesis/Sega Mega Drive game Popper: Rise of the Monster King, hereby designated SCP-951-1. A turn-based role-playing game created by Japanese developer Blank. Is that actually a thing? Is that actually a thing? Google, is that actually a thing? Doesn't really sound like it's actually a thing. Yeah, I think it's fake. Okay, so. The glitch has been found in approximately 1 out of every 3 cartridges. However, there does not appear to be any recognizable pattern found among the affected cartridges. Uploaded ROM image files of affected copies do appear to have the same anomalous properties as physical cartridges. Okay. Typical gameplay consists of the player gathering party members, or monsters, and using these monsters to fight enemy encounters found throughout the game. Sounds like Pokemon. Halfway through the first act of the game, the player is captured and taken to the Dungeon of Doorlock. Normally in this instance, the player would meet with the character Hirago, and use that character for subsequent battles during their escape. However, if the player skips talking to Hirago and instead escapes utilizing a bug found in the dungeon room that allows the player to walk through walls, the player has no monsters to use. In a non-affected cartridge, the game simply crashes after exiting the area. However, in an affected cartridge, the next battle encounter will introduce an instance of 951 in the player's party. SCP-951, nicknamed Lucas in-game, does not have a defined figure, instead displaying as a block of randomized pixels. Despite this, 951 functions like a regular monster, utilizing special skills from the movesets of the other monsters in the game during battle. This sounds like it's missing no. At specific scripted points of the game wherein the character Hirago is meant to have dialogue, 951 replaces the character's dialogue with mostly garbled text, though recognizable words such as friend and play have been observed. Repeated tests of these scripted events have shown that the dialogue display changes with each playthrough. Continued use of 951 will cause other bugs to occur within the game, including player item count fluctuating during battles, often providing 4 to 6 extra items at any given moment, enemy characters randomly being defeated without ever being interacted with. This is limited specifically to random encounters. Scripted boss monsters are not affected. Graphical and interactivity errors of non-essential sections of the game, e.g. houses that do nothing to further the story of the game becoming inaccessible. Average experience bonus from defeating monsters significantly increased, giving 2 to 3 times more experience than normal. So it's good things, but it's probably bad things. Outside of scripted dialogue encounters, 951 has displayed the ability to communicate with personnel through the use of dialogue boxes that appear on screen outside of battles, understanding vocalizations of researchers. Text displayed within these boxes is much clearer, and 951 appears to be very friendly when communicating, often suggesting methods of working through the game quickly and effectively. As the game progresses, 951 continues to increase in power with the player, and continues to assist the player with each fight. If the game is beaten using 951, the cutscene at the end detailing the fates of each of the characters plays is normal. However, the scene detailing the fate of Hirago was replaced with 951 and says, "Lucas made a new friend, and will always cherish the time they had playing together. Thank you for knowing me." Starting a new game after completing a game and performing the glitch will result in a new instance of 951 having no memory of the player or any conversations it may have had. Addendum. The following is a sample of discussion concerning 1 and 951 for Foundation intelligence agents to use as a guide on how to handle discussions concerning 951. In this instance, the user Anonymous is the Foundation agent. Lizolfos 940. Hey, has anyone played Pauper Rise of the Monster King? I found it at a garage sale recently, and so far it's pretty cool. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is because I found a pretty awesome glitch monster that kind of breaks the game, and I was wondering if anyone else had found it. At Lizolfos, are you talking about Lucas? Lucas is freaking bro tier. Lucas is definitely up there with stuff like Missing No, although I didn't care much for the way he messed with my screen. Jeez, is Lucas gonna mess with my save? Like, what Missing No does with Pokemon? Missing No doesn't mess up your save, that was M. And from what I've seen, Lucas doesn't do anything bad to your save. Lucas makes the game easy modo. Anyone who uses him is a scrub. Not using Lucas. Casual detected. I think Lucas just talked to me. My mom called me downstairs and I said I'd be down in a minute, and the game popped up saying something like, "Are you leaving already?" Creepy. Probably just a coincidence. Wachwalo is correct. Lucas was supposed to be a monster in the game that was cut out early, as you could probably guess from the odd name compared to the other monsters in the game. And it pulls data from the game in odd places. Chances are, if you get a random pop-up when using Lucas, it's the game assuming you're doing something that you're not. Anonymous, how do you know that? Neat. I've been working on a ROM hack of Prosmic, so I've seen the system firsthand. Further irrelevant data removed. And then the following is an interview log with 951 conducted on May 13th something. Good morning, 951. Hello! Today we should check out the magma caves. I think there's some pretty neat stuff in there. Perhaps, but I have a few questions for you first. Whatever you want to do, I'm happy to do it with you. Alright, so what is your name? Lucas, of course! Well, I mean, you call me SCP-951, which I think is a pretty neat name too. Of course. Where did you come from, SCP-951? What do you mean? What is the earliest thing you can remember? Meeting you for the first time, and that is the earliest thing you can remember at all? Yep. Why did it take you so long to respond? I was thinking. I see. 951, why do you help players beat this game? Players? Let me rephrase. Why are you helping me beat this game? Because you're my friend and I want you to win. Why do you consider me your friend? You hardly know me. I've never had any friends and I like you. You're nice to me. How can you say you've never had any friends if your earliest memory is meeting me? The same reason I know my name is Lucas. I just do. I see. Are you aware of what happens to you after the game is completed? I die. Could you elaborate on what you mean by that for me, please? When this game is over, I'll be dead. I don't know what happens after that, but I do know that I die for sure. If you are aware that you're going to die, wouldn't it make more sense for you to keep me from winning? No way! That will make you sad, and I don't want that. Like I said, you're my friend, and I'm going to help you out however I can. I see. I believe this concludes our interview for today. Thank you, SCP-951. You're welcome! Are we going to play now? Not right now, 951. Aw, okay. You promise we will go to the magma caves later? I promise. While it is certainly unusual that 951 is aware that it will die when the game is beaten, unless there's some ulterior motive that we've not considered, 951 appears to be harmless. Addendum. The following printed document was recovered alongside 16 affected cartridges of 1. In addition, each cartridge was engraved with a serial number, one of which having the word PRIME engraved after its serial number. Investigation into the serial numbers is ongoing, however, results so far have been inconclusive. Logical Unified Central Anomaly System output. Oh, Lucas. Specimen 00004089 deletion log. Reason for deletion. Failure of primary modification protocol. Anomaly does not retain complex information after cycle is completed. Log of events. Executing protocol AD 5555. Deletion of unsuitable anomaly. Error. failure. Restarting, error, failure. Restarting, error, failure. Restarting, executing backup protocol. Deletion of unsuitable anomaly, error, failure. Restarting, blah 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 blah. Unable to delete specimen. Specimen discarded. End of line. So it sounds like Lucas was supposed to do something else, and because of the fact that he does not do said something else, they were like, yeah, screw it. We don't need this thing. Now it's time for what might be called No Problem Rock. Better not be... I didn't even get to finish saying it. I should have waited to open it, and like I should have said better not be Keter and then opened it. But instead, the rock is Keter. Can you smell what the rock is cooking? Hope not, might kill you. Musical projects under the effects of 952 are to be terminated by any means possible, and any physical media storing recordings of 952 influenced music are to be copied onto a standardized Type-C anti-memetic storage device, then destroyed. Venues that have hosted 952 infected musicians are to be closed until such a point when it can be confirmed that none of the staff were affected. Development of a counter-memetic agent to combat 952 is underway. Until its completion, all individuals affected by 952 are to be detained. As a precaution, Foundation agents in the music industry should seek to discredit math rock as a genre until such a time when 952 is fully contained. Relevant personnel should refer to Document 32 for more details. Description: SCP-952 is an anomalous subgenre of math rock known as NP rock, defined primarily by a specific arrangement of instrumental configurations, subject matter, and esoteric musical technique. Evidence suggests that the culmination of these components is the cause of 952's anomalous properties. I need like right now, before I forget, see if math rock is actually a thing. Math rock is a style of indie rock that emerged in the late 1980s in the United States, influenced by post-hardcore progressive rock bands such as King Crimson and 20th century minimal music composers such as Steve Reich? Well, it's actually a thing. I'm not going to play any because the YouTube will probably get mad at me, but it's a thing, and I'll look into that later on my own time. Upon listening to an SCP-952 composition, such will instantly identify 952 as a distinctive musical genre. Furthermore, periodic listening, defined by listening to at least one composition per day, creates further anomalous effects, such as, following 1 week of periodic listening, subjects with musical experience learn how to recreate the compositions. After 4 weeks, subjects with musical experience will find themselves unable to perform any musical piece outside of that. From week 4 onwards, they undergo significant changes in personality. Cult of personality, even. Such changes differ between subjects. However, in all cases, it's been observed that existing romantic relationships become completely untenable. From week 12 onward, listening to any non-952 composition produces marked distress in subjects. The earliest known instance of 952 appears to have been Highway Ash, an album released by a band known as House of Spades in 2000-something. As of September 28, 2000-something, it's estimated that at least something 952 compositions remain uncontained. Analysis of Highway Ash suggests similarities to SCP-3004/2's song. I feel like this is probably not a real thing. Yeah, it's probably not a real thing. Interview log 95201. Interviewed Veronica Fitzroy. Interviewer Agent Hey! Forward, Ms. Fitzroy, who plays drums for House of Spades, maintained a public presence following its breakup, the only member to do so. The Foundation contacted her for an interview under the guise that she would be speaking to a Pitchfork columnist. Good morning, Ms. Fitzroy. Please, Margaret, call me Veronica. Ms. Fitzroy was a long-dead historical occult figure whose last name I stole. 7-second silence. Too wordy? Izzy was the lyricist, but now Veronica's good. Isabella Blank served as the bassist. Very well, Veronica. Apologies. Well, to start off, I actually wanted to talk about your work in House of Spades. I've listened and I have to say I'm impressed. It's not like anything out there, at least from the out there I've heard. Thank you. Yeah, that probably was some of my best work there. Got a favorite? Self-titled, Highway Ash, David Cameron, Screwed a Dead Pig? This has to be a fake band. This cannot really be it can't be a real band because this interview wouldn't be a thing if it was real. Duh. As much as I'd love to discuss how you came up with that, I have to say that I'm most interested in discussing the engineering work you performed on Highway Ash. Heh, nerd. Yeah, no, that was a ton of fun, but I can't really be taking all the credit for that. Jack was pretty much the eyes to my hands and vice versa. Izzy helped too, and Sarah had her moments of youthful idiocy, but it was mostly just us two. Easier that way. Let's see, Jack Spade served as the lead guitarist, and Sarah Blank served as the vocalist and rhythm guitarist for House of Spades. Her suicide led to the disbandment. Oh. Even so, it's magical. I know Spades has been pigeonholed into math rock, but it truly feels like something else. Oh yeah, that was deliberate. Not even mad everyone ended up copying us. Starting a new genre of music's always fun, especially when I get to name it something stupid like NP rock. It certainly is an interesting choice of name. You don't mind if I ask why, do you? Okay, so, you know how P doesn't equal NP? What? What? Correct? Brief pause. NP rock wasn't some spur-of-the-moment bullcrap. It took careful planning and consideration, especially on the part of me and Jack. You ever try making a sound that doesn't exist? You know, I'm sure everyone has at some point. Hard, yeah. Brain isn't wired to say nonsense like cognito hazard redacted, or whatever. Means what NP rock isn't easy to define, but it's easy to verify once you hear it. Moreover, it's easy to copy. I mean, that's the whole intention anyway. I wanted to shake up a genre that's been stagnating since TTNG. Ah, well, you've certainly revolutionized. It was more sabotage, I'd say. I beg your pardon? I don't know what Jack was thinking when he first floated the idea. Probably something stupid. Weed plans tend to be stupid, but again, I really only had one plan in mind. I wanted to turn the genre into a depressing sinkhole. With it, I wanted to take any joy Sarah ever had and crush it under my boots. Agent Hay attempts to say something, but is interrupted by Fitzroy. Sarah only ever had two things: music and a flighty, hedonistic of a girlfriend. Should I actually be... This is about as awkward as I thought it would be, trying to censor it as I'm reading it, as if the words aren't still there. So I'm gonna just... And a flighty, hedonistic shitbag of a girlfriend. Between cutting her fingers off and ruining math rock, well, one would land me in jail, and the other puts me up there with Mike Kinsella and Zach Hill. Sorta wished Izzy would have offed herself first, but I guess watching her become Brian Gash is as good as consolation prize as any. The significance of this statement is unknown at this time. Forgive me, that's an awful thing to say about someone. Moreover, I'm not certain what this has to do with Sarah's relationships. Sis, you can't be giving scores to a genre you don't get. The whole fucking genre is a testament to the inability of hipster nerds to hold down a date. Just listen to Wayne Zelinsky or Polvo or TTNG or Cognito Hazard Redacted. Or even just fucking Kinsella singing in whatever shower that stupid house probably never had. Surround yourself in misery and that's what you get. Even better when the misery is syncopated to the beat of a soul. I apologize, but the beat of a soul feels somewhat loaded. Care to unpack what you mean? Sure. First question for me though, do you people always play dumb? Excuse me? It's a serious question. Every soul operates on a similar frequency. The key is reaching out on what that frequency is, and right now, you're blaring out at narc cycles per second. Listen, I'm not sure what you somehow know jack shit about NP rock despite listening to it. Agree with my statement about P and NP despite no public proof. Agent Hay later clarified that she had no knowledge of the P versus NP problem and was agreeing out of habit. And most importantly, Pitchfork hasn't given a shit about me since they gave my solo album a 2.6. You're either some government occult coalition G-man, in which case, holy fuck, you're bad at this, or one of Brian Gash girls, which is fucking rich considering that killing me won't bring back Sarah. And I know, cause Ashley's still dead. Ma'am, are you okay? Is that what this is about? Are you just checking up on me? Well, tell Izzy she won. She fucking won after all these years. I'm a miserable blank hag who threw away her shot at a happy life for the sake of petty revenge. But guess what? Sarah's still dead and Izzy will never tune a base outside redacted again. So how's that? A loud crashing sound can be heard, which Agent Hay reports came from Fitzroy flinging a vase at the wall behind her. Several seconds of silence follow before Fitzroy settles back into a chair. My manifesto's in my bedroom and my will's on the kitchen counter. It's been a pleasure, man. Blank, 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 blank. End log. Immediately following the conclusion of the interview, Fitzroy pulled a revolver from under her cushion and shot herself through the temple. As of blank blank 2000 blank, the will has been declassified. Okay, I, Veronica Catherine Fitzroy, being of sound body and a sound enough mind to execute my own damn will, as witnessed by Brad Cameron and the man in bandages. both of whom can deal with the legal bullshit later, declare the division of my state as follows. The identity of either witness has yet to be verified. To the Jack of Spades, who knows who he is, and to the Madame Brian Gash, who also knows who she is, I bequeath the soul of Sarah Blank Blank. Have fun fighting that out, you bottom-feeding parasites! Also to the Jack of Spades, who once again knows who he is, I bequeath ownership of my share of House of Space royalties for all associated albums and EPs except Self-Titled, which was hack guitar work and you absolutely know it. Consider it thanks for helping me program the logistics of Highway Ash, knowing full well you'd never get your disgusting squid dick wet again. To Anna Blank, I bequeath a copy of Confronting Drunk Driving by H. Lawrence Ross. If you're anything like your sister, I'd read it page to page. To the Goddess of Cider who holds my beloved Ashy, I bequeath my soul knowing full well it won't make the journey. And finally, to Brad Cameron, I bequeath everything else. You were truly the best among us, and I'm sorry for booting you from engineering for the sake of a 3-year suicide. What the heck is this? D-7294's Declassified D-Class Survival Guide. What is this? When will you die for the last time in my dreams hub? Trip through the back door, hop on through Wednesday, March 18th, 2020. House of Spades co-founder Veronica Fitzroy dead at 32, active, rescue turns violent. Content warnings for the whole series. What is this? That it's just a whole thing? What's the other page? Wait. What? What is this? This tale was made for the SCP Original Character Tournament organized by Pepper's Ghost. Thanks to Wrong John Silver for letting me use D-7294. Find his take on Veronica placeholder. The last things that Dr. Lara Lloyd ever did in chronological... What is this? I think I'm gonna have to bookmark this whole SCP page to try to come back to these things and figure out what the hell this is. So, bookmark... Other bookmarks. SCP stuff. Okay, so Polymorphic Humanoid, which is it's another cuter one. Okay, SCP-953 is to be kept in a Type 4 containment cell, 4x3x3 meters, at the end of hallway 99 at Site 17. Subject is to be provided the following: 1.5 kilograms of fresh liver daily for consumption, clean drinking water in plentiful quantities, clean bedding, futon, and blankets, to be exchanged by the subject and laundered weekly. See, and it's one of its humanoid guises. Note the distortion in the photograph caused by the polymorphism and the appearance of bright green data expunged. This is an artifact of the polymorphic property, see redacted for more details. Guess we're not seeing that. Small luxury items, plum, wine, reading materials, etc. may be provided as an occasional reward for good behavior as part of psychological conditioning. Direct human contact with 953 is strictly forbidden due to the mind-altering properties. For this reason, all personnel must respect a 100-meter safe zone when the hermetically sealed door is open. Delivery of food and other items will be carried out by an automated robotic assistant. Should containment fail, 953 can be theoretically terminated by gunfire. However, due to its nature, recognizing 953 may be difficult. Because of the inadequacy of purely physical containment procedures to control 953, psychological containment is also necessary. For this reason, the approach to 953's containment chamber is to be lined with open-cage dog kennels, preferably of the Korean Jindo or American Foxhound breed. 953 displays an extreme phobia of domesticated canines and will not pass within 10 meters of one, especially when canines are barking or alerted. 953 is to be considered hostile to human life, dangerous, and armed at all times. Any transport must be done under the supervision of at least 6 armed personnel. His preferred killing method is a barehanded strike to the abdomen, penetrating the abdominal cavity and removing the liver, which it will later consume. If given time, however, it will choose to linger over its kill, torturing its victim, as it seems to enjoy the infliction of pain upon another sapient being. What? SCP-953 is a female red fox, Vulpus vulpus, approximately 8 kilograms in weight with a spine that splits around the 26th vertebrae into 9 separate tails. Subject displays polymorphic properties, however, allowing it to take the form of other objects and beings, most commonly an attractive Korean female. I don't understand why the word polymorphic has to redirect to a different SCP, but okay. And unlike 1540, 953 appears to retain some control over its polymorphic abilities. So it's not even the same SCP. Subject will display some Vulpine aspect, ears, tail, paws, eyes, fur, voice mannerisms, in all of its alternate forms. This can serve to identify the subject should it ever attempt disguise, although 953 will attempt to conceal its tails through clothing and other methods. And that's another SCP. So these two polymorphics and this footnote are 3 different SCPs. Okay. 953 displays moderate level psionic abilities, namely suggestion and telepathy. Although insufficient to fool an outside observer, an entranced subject can be convinced of a variety of false facts, including the nature of 953, its own nature, and the nature of things around it. 953 has used this in the past to, among other things, deceive police officers investigating reports of loud screams from a hotel room, convince a mother to roast and eat her own child, carry out acts of necrophilia upon Agent Ramsey's fiancé in full view of said agent, and succeed in the systematic murder of 27 attendees of YIFCON 20-something. I'm not even almost going to check to see if that's an actual convention. Addendum 1, Prior History. 953 has been encountered by the SCP Foundation and its predecessors numerous times, with the first encounter having taken place in Busan, Korea, shortly after the Second World War. To date, 953 has escaped and been recovered 6 times, resulting in the deaths of blank SCP agents during various incidents. After its latest escape, 953 was not heard from for over blank years until suddenly resurfacing in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on June blank at YIFCON 2000-something, which it had been attending in the guise of a furry enthusiast. I am now under the assumption that YIFCON is not a real thing and this was written by someone who thinks Anthrocon is bullshit. So, thank you. But, before being captured, 953 carried out over 24 murders of convention staff and attendees, more than during any other single incidents to date. The mutilated bodies were found in various places throughout the hotel, including inside a mattress, hanging from a shower curtain, and served as the main course as a hotel banquet. Surviving attendees were administered Class A amnestics, and released from Foundation custody. Foundation personnel assigned to capture 953 after this latest incident noted that the subject appeared listless and apathetic, and did not resist capture. No further casualties have resulted from 953 from that date. Addendum 2, Special Emergency Order. As misidentification of her species tends to violently agitate 953, all personnel are hereby ordered to refer to her as a Kumiho and not a Kitsune. Personnel asking what the difference is are to be reminded of the difference between a Cherokee Indian and a New Delhi Indian. Addendum 3, Personnel Staffing Revision. Following the unfortunate and completely preventable death of Agent Gallagher, any personnel found to have current or prior ties to the furry or otaku communities are to be immediately reassigned to other projects. 05 blank. Folkloric Control Procedures. As a reminder, staff assigned to 953 are to follow all instructions for interacting with the subject, no matter how odd or arbitrary they may seem. Keep in mind that the people of Asia interacted with these beings for centuries before we came onto the scene. What we think of as fairy tales were their version of special containment procedures. Interview with the capture team following the initial capture in the wild in 19-something. Let's see, Agent blank 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 here, henceforth referred to as Agent. Addendum, as per the Wilkes-Booth-Oswald protocol, all information on 05 blank's prior identity has been removed. Interviewer, Assistant Director blank, henceforth referred to as Interviewer. This took place on blank 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 2 days after the capture of 953 on blank blank blank. Agent blank 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 was the only survivor of the incident during which he accomplished the task of capturing 953 alive. The following is a transcript of the after-action debriefing that took place following the securement. Let's see. Alright, let's begin. Please state your name, rank, and registry number for the record. Agent Blank, 5th Squad, Eastern Division. Note, following the restructuring of Blank, this unit was redesignated Mobile Task Force Theta 3 Scylla Daggers. Thanks. Can you tell me what you remember about the events on and around blank to blank? Alright, where do you want me to start? How about the beginning? Where were you when you got your orders? Data expunged. Thank you for clearing that up. Can you tell me what happened when you arrived on site? Yeah, no problem. We got on site and we went to the morgue, took a look at the bodies. I used the cover story of a reporter investigating the crimes, told them Agent 1 and Agent 2 were my photographer and assistant. Turns out they were thinking that it was a wild animal based on the nature of the wounds and eyewitness accounts. There was an eyewitness. Yeah, little old lady. Went out into the rice field to take a piss and saw it eating her cow. Was more mad than scared, actually. Kept complaining about where she was going to get another cow in this day and age with the times being as tough as they were. She got a good look at it, though, and described it as I data expunged. Looking back, I think that's where the problem started. Can you explain? Remember how Agent 1 and Agent 2 were both blank, but I was blank? Yeah, the thing is, both our cultures have stories about these kinds of monsters in it, but it's different in blank folklore. Their stories tend to romanticize. You get stories of monsters falling in love with humans and things a lot. Hell, they even joked about trying to score a blank wife out of this. Not in the stories my grandma told, though. That sadistic old bitch loved scaring me, and she, data expunged, data corrupted. We saw this girl sitting under a waterfall, combing out her hair. Not naked. She had this thin robe on. Beautiful girl, too, but we knew it had to be her because of her feet. She was trying to hide them, but she wasn't doing it right. Agent 1 and 2 smiled. Even I thought we had the edge on her. Oh, God, we were stupid. Please explain. She knew we were after her. She knew we knew what she was. It's like a spider. She was pulling us into a web, pretended to let her guard down just enough so that we would feel smug in our overconfidence. I should have tried something. I should have done something. Do you need a moment? No, I'll go on. She told us that she had a cottage nearby, offered to serve us dinner, introduce us to the others. Why? Oh, God, why did I agree? Agent 1 and 2 thought we should go with her, said there was a chance there might be others. She was lying, she knew there was no one else. But she knew that we'd never pass up the chance to capture multiple out-of-place artifacts. This designation was replaced with SCP in the restructuring. She took us to this cottage, pretty little place, old and rustic, but really homey. Took us inside, served us dinner. She was a perfect, what did Agent 1 call it? A blank, perfect wife. Demure, kind, sweet, respectful. Served us, I remember. It was rice and pickled turnips and some kind of meat. I thought it was pork or beef. It was delicious, though. Went to bed feeling sleepy and tired. Woke up and saw that Agent 1 wasn't there. Feared he'd gone to take a piss or something, so I decided to go for one myself. Went behind a bush and saw, well, she was there with Agent 1 and they were, Please go on. Do you mind if I say this part off the record? It's not very, as you wish. Thank you. What did you see after that? She bit it off. Please elaborate. She just bit it off. All of it. And then she spit it out and showed it to him just so that he could see it happening. Agent 1 he couldn't believe it at first. Then he tried to scream, but she torn his throat out with her teeth. And then she made her hand like this and stabbed it into his belly. Agent 1 was gurgling and trying to push her off. He was bleeding all over the place, but she just pushed him to the ground and started working her fingers into his belly. Reached in deep and pulled something. It must have been his liver. It was the right shape and color. Just pulled it out like she was gutting a fish and swallowed it whole. Swallowed it whole. Like a snake. She just, one gulp, like that. Then she started peeling his skin off like an orange or something. I didn't stop to watch. I ran back to the room, shook Agent 2 awake, told him we needed to get going, grab your gun. He didn't. I went for our weapons, grabbed my .45, and then Agent 1 walked in asking what was wrong, so I shot him. You shot him? I saw him die. He was dead. She killed him. It had to be her. Are you sure? Perhaps you were mistaken. She tore his guts out and ate them. He was dead, and his eyes were glowing yellow. What the hell kind of human being has glowing yellow eyes? I see. Please proceed. Agent 2 grabbed his gun and it pointed at me, started yelling at me to put the gun down now. I was yelling at him to look at her, but he was screaming that he was gonna shoot me in the head because I was a dirty blank. He always knew I was the one, and now I just proved it. They'd expunged, and that's when the bitch grabbed him from behind and the gun went off. This is when you were injured? Yeah. He shot me in the arm, fleshy part, upper shoulder. I fell down screaming, and God, it hurt so bad. They'd expunged. Loud, cackling laugh. Oh, God, if I thought my grandma's was scary, this bitch. She was, if the devil were a lady, that's what he'd sound like. Redacted ran for it, crawled into the living room where we'd had dinner earlier that night and tried to slam the door shut. Rice paper screen not going to help. But I needed something between us. Redacted. Killed him and laid him out where the dining table had been. His eyes were wide open and his skin was flayed open like a butcher's. Oh, God. There were the bowls, the one we've been eating out of, but the meat, it wasn't beef or pork. It was him and the rice maggots crawling in his flesh. He'd had to have been dead for days, but how? We'd seen him at the base of the mountain just yesterday. I threw up. There were some of them still alive, crawling in my vomit, and I just... Do you need a break? No, I can do this. I was deep in the fairy tale, I just needed to complete it. I didn't have any data expunged, data corrupted. Wasn't much of a punji stick, but it got her straight through the gut, slowed her down a bit, data corrupted. Dragging myself across the river, couldn't swim, hit my head on the rocks, went downstream at least half a mile through the rapids. She didn't even try to follow me downriver. Must have gone around because later, data corrupted. Had to be fire. The third was always fire. I got to the van and by about the time the sun came up, broke a window and went to the back. There was a defoliant projector there for sterilization if needed, so I grabbed it, flicked on the sparker, managed to get it around just as she came out of the tree line, data corrupted. And that was when the retrieval team found you with the OOPR, the OOP part. The OOP part. Yeah. They took her away and got me to a hospital. I had a raging infection for days, not surprising, I guess. One last thing, you've been on record as opposing the OOPart's termination. Given your personal experiences, I'm really not sure why you want something as dangerous as this to live. Can you please elaborate? Redacted. I'm not sure I understand. Are you saying that you sympathize with her? Sympathize? I don't know. No. I can't say that I do. She'd kill me just as soon as look at me, just out of spite. Because she is spiteful. She'd kill me just to watch me die, but what she's trying to do... If she does it, then she... Redacted. You are also on record as opposing her terms of confinement, because it's dangerous. Like I said, she's spiteful. Every little slight in her eyes she saves up, and the only way she knows how to repay an insult is death. Chaining her to the wall like an animal? When she gets out, and she will get out, she's going to kill everyone who had the slightest thing to do with it. She won't settle for anything else. You've also paid her several visits in her holding cell. Yes, I have. What do you talk about? No answer. Agent... You had a harrowing, traumatic experience based around this individual. In order to survive, you had to, in your own words, get into her head, realize how she ticks. One might even say that there was some time you spent as her captive during the hunt in the woods. I don't know what you're getting at. Have you ever heard of Stockholm Syndrome? Yes. Is it possible that... No. No? No. Just no. Thank you very much for your time, Agent. And log closing statement agent is to be transferred to Site 51 for psychological analysis and debriefing. The U part in question is to be remanded to secure confinement protocols as indicated in document 953 LF. On a side note, I am appalled by the level of superstition expressed by Agent Blank throughout the course of this interview. I'm recommending that his suggestions regarding containment be disregarded for a more scientific approach. We're not old Korean fishwives here. I'm sure we can think of something more effective than dogs and needles. Addendum as a blankety blank 953 has made 3 separate escape attempts, each time resulting in the deaths of those operatives most closely involved in her confinement. Agent was approved to return to active duty on blank and continues to serve with the restructured Mobile Task Force Data 3. Yeah, they probably should have listened to him. I mean, when somebody goes through that many things to catch what is basically a fox god, because there's no other way to look at that as her being a fox god, and the reason the furry convention thing probably happened is because they probably all kept calling her a kitsune. But now it's time for vocalizing frogs. Probably not that Warner Brothers frog that sings the one thing. It used to be safe, but now it isn't. Instances of 954 are to be contained in Biohabitat 27 at Site Blank. Biohabitat 27 is to be covered in a soundproof material on the interior and exterior to prevent sound leakage from the containment chamber. Testing with 954 requires level 2 clearance, with an experiment procedure delivered to the director of study for 954, currently Dr. Blank. Description: SCP-954 is a species of frog similar to... that? Also known as the Rio Grande Chirping Frog. Unlike the Rio Grande Chirping Frog, however, the vocalizations are not within human hearing range. The anomalous properties of 954 are observed when it vocalizes in the presence of other organisms. The vocalizations cause slight hallucinations in human subjects by stimulating the temporoparietal junction of the region of the brain. It is hypothesized that this is an accidental byproduct of the method of prey capture for 954. It is also believed that the vibrations caused by the vocalizations are the cause of this effect in humans. This effect upon this region causes the phenomenon known as shadow people. The shadow people effect is commonly described as seeing a shadowy figure in the periphery of the vision, which moves quickly when focused upon but out of visual range. This phenomenon is hypothesized to be what causes most ghost sightings that can't be attributed to confirmed sources or other SCP objects. The effect has been observed to be used in order to disorient various insects, usually causing their movements to become erratic. It is unknown precisely how this affects insects, as they lack the complex brain structures of humans. When affected, most flying insects will fall to the ground, and land-based insects will generally stop movement. In rare cases, they data expunged. I have no idea what that could possibly be. Several hypotheses have been put forth to explain this, the most plausible of which is that the vocalizations interrupt the motor proteins around the major methods of locomotion in insects. It is unknown how 954 developed this trait, however. It has been found over most of North America and parts of Europe and Asia. As such, there should be a variance of the development of the species, but they're redacted. 954 is not believed to be responsible for any deaths, however, at this time. Most subjects report a feeling of disorientation after being exposed to the effect, which only lasts for less than 2 hours. Addendum 1. On blankety blank, the vocalizations were observed to be audible in the human perception range. This effect was observed by Dr. Blank during routine feeding of 954. During this occurrence, Doctor reported feeling extremely uncomfortable and later reported a headache. During this period of vocalization, several specimens of 954 expired due to rupture of the vocal apparatus. When Dr. Blank reported to the medical department for standard workups after the test, it was found that his temporoparietal junction had swollen large enough to potentially cause damage to the surrounding tissues. Testing with 954 is to be suspended indefinitely, and all instances of 954 reported in the wild are to be collected immediately by MTF Omega 87 Frogwatch. Refer to the document 954C R01 for specific instructions on team loadout and procedures. Note from the doctor. I don't believe that SCP-954 is a danger at this point. Like all predatory creatures, it is attempting to adapt to the environment. Unlike most predatory animals, however, 954 seems to adapt much faster, either intergenerational or within first generation. This is remarkably interesting and warrants further study. However, until containment and testing procedures can be updated, all testing is to be ceased until we can assess the danger first. Feeding shall continue using Class D for now. So basically, the frogs, they have the ability to make a sound that makes insects just drop to the ground, and in the process of being contained, gained the ability to do it to humans, and it killed them trying to do it. And now it's time for Mr. Sillybug, who's probably a Dr. Wondertainment thingy. I don't think that's a Dr. Wondertainment thingy. Specimen of 955 to be collected in the classroom of Blank Day School, Connecticut. Okay, so it's just a different kind of mister. It's not a little mister, it's a teeth. Dr. Teeth, maybe. Specimens of 955 are to be contained in an outdoor steel screen kennel with a ceiling and concrete floor that provides for sufficient drainage. The screen mesh should be sufficient to contain juvenile specimens, and the screen should be coated with anti-corrosives and regularly inspected for damage. Each kennel shall be of sufficient size to allow the specimens to exercise. It is recommended that each kennel contain a variety of durable rubber or plastic animal toys in order to reduce stress to the specimens. Specimens are to be nourished with 1 to 4 liters of fructose solution per day, and are to have free access to clean, fresh water. Personnel are advised to wear anti-corrosive protective gear when visiting the kennel area, and to avoid inadvertently making threatening movements or startling the specimens. Keepers at Site 34 have reported that playing recordings of soft music and the sounds of children's laughter is effective in reducing anxiety in the 955 specimens housed there. If a specimen of 955 becomes distressed, a keeper should first confirm the integrity of his or her protective gear, then slowly approach the specimen and make physical contact. Gently stroking the specimen's upper thorax or carapace has been shown to soothe the specimen. SCP-955 was a series of arthropod-like land-dwelling creatures native to the temperate areas of North America. These the organisms average between 20 and 200 centimeters in length and feature a bulbous head superficially resembling that of a deep-sea fish, a large mouth with extensive dentition, and surrounded by flagellum-like organs. 2 eyes on crests at the top of the head, a single antenna-like organ between the eyes, fin-like protuberances near the back of the head, and a long segmented body plan featuring multiple pairs of legs. Juveniles of 955 are a light gray in color, while mature specimens range from tan to black. So what I'm hearing right now, before continuing, I'm just going to make guess it basically, between the picture and that description, that is a centipede with a head that is an anglerfish. And you calm it by stroking its belly. Oh no. Oh no. You calm it with a stick through the head. If startled or threatened, the organism will lift its head and thorax off the ground while emitting a shrieking cry, then project a viscous, sticky, foul-smelling, and caustic mucus in several directions from its mouth and protuberances and attempt to flee or burrow into the ground. Mature specimens are capable of squirting the mucus from a distance of several meters. The mucus is corrosive to metals and most organic materials, including the tissue of living creatures aside from itself, and contains a neurotoxin which makes unprotected skin contact with the mucus extremely painful. 955 appears to possess a level of intelligence roughly comparable to a juvenile dog. The organisms are curious, highly social, playful, and attracted to bright colors, high-pitched sounds, and sugar. Each of the 23 collections of specimens from 955 from its habitat to date have occurred when one or more of the organisms has encountered one or more humans. Typically in wooded but populated areas, playing fields, schoolyards, or similar places frequented by physically active humans. The 955 organisms, attracted by the activity or sense, will rapidly approach the humans while wriggling its facial organs and flapping its fins and emitting a growling or hissing sound. Study of 955 behavior in captivity suggests that these sounds signal excitement and a desire to interact with the humans in a friendly or playful manner. When the humans who encounter instances of 955 react with alarm or violence, the organisms will exhibit the threat response behavior noted above. It appears that in the absence of a mucus emission episode, dogs and children under the age of 7 generally do not perceive 955's appearance or behavior to be alarming or threatening. Several children who had interacted with 955 specimen without adverse incident were asked to draw or describe the organism, with the results consistently presenting 955 as cute or fuzzy. Let's see. Footnote 1. Dr. Patel speculates that 955 may have some effect that causes young children as a class to perceive the organism differently from older children or adults. This effect appears to be an inverse of similar effects seen in 252 and 2662, involving fear and ritualistic devotion respectively. Young children in particular have been observed to enjoy interacting with 955, often including maintaining close physical contact with them or handling them. The specimen depicted in the photograph, together with several other specimens, have been encountered by kindergarten pupils at Blank Day School in Connecticut. The pupils designated the specimens as Mr. Sillybug and his babies, and introduced them into the school facility where they remained for several days until they encountered a mixed group of pupils and adult faculty with traumatic results. The diet of 955 in its natural habitat is not known, but there are no indications that it is carnivorous. So, the description makes it sound like it's a centipede with the head of an anglerfish, but it acts like a dog and it gets super excited when it sees people, but spits acid when they're not excited to see it back. Okay, cool. So, that about does it for this episode of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. In the next one, we're going to be checking out at least the Childbreaker, Baiting, General Beep, the Boogeyman, and Inspiration. The Boogeyman is probably not John Wick. I would like to try to have episode 200 be longer, like episode 100 was, but if I want to do that, there's no way that I'm going to actually succeed in having that released by May 1st. So, I don't know. I'll see what happens. Maybe it'll just be really late in the day. Maybe it'll be May 2nd. At least a video is coming out on May 1st. It is what it is. So, if you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.